Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make this card. So this is a Thinking of You card using the Thoughts and Prayers set here. That's the greening from the Thoughts and Prayers. I just kind of didn't ink the bottom part of it. Just a few embellishment buttons, and then that's the only stamping I've actually done here other than the dot dot dot. So I'm going to do one that's slightly different, but everything's the exact same size and it's all the exact same layers, but it's just a little bit different. So it's pretty much the same, so you can follow along. You use all the same pieces, but just slightly different. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is I've already stamped everything here. Instead of using the dot dot dot, I use the Stampin' Around wheel here, and I use the alphabet wheel, which is now discontinued and retired, so if you want to use that, you'll have to stamp with me. So what you first do is you layer the Thoughts and Prayers piece, with this piece is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, onto the 4 by 3 dot dot dot, or in this case the alphabet wheel pre-stamped. Now I've already done this for you, but just for those people who don't know, this is our ink pads. So they just open really easy. You push the buttons, pull it back, lock it into place. And what I do here is I slant it the other way. I just run it across so you can see there's a nice little line on there. You can kind of see it against the background here. You can see the line. And I'm just going to do that on all 4 corners, just so I can get a definition line there. So it just stands out a little bit more. Close our ink pad back. So I'm going to take the snail adhesive and I'm just going to roll some adhesive just onto the back here. Make sure that I cover all 4 corners. Put a little bit in the middle, and I also want to put a little bit on the sides as well, just because, you know, it's nice to have it stick where it's supposed to. And just layer this right on top of the dot dot dot, and in this case alphabet piece. Now you may notice that my tree is both green and brown. I did that just using a baby wipe to take the ink off the old olive and then re-ink it using my blender pen. So that's how I got the tree to be both green and brown. Oh, excuse me, I kind of have some sniffles here. Alright, so the next piece we're going to work on is this background here. So first we're going to take, this is the eyelet border punch, but I've just used, I wanted a little bit of a worn look here, so I just pressed a piece of white cardstock using my bone folder, just like this, and kind of pressing it like this into the chocolate chip ink pad. But it's one of that, you know, you notice how it's a little bit worn and it's kind of, you know, looks antique-y. It's kind of what I wanted, so I didn't want it to be as pretty. I wanted it more vintage, because I used lots of crisp lines in the actual making of the rest of the card, the stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of cardstock, and you'll notice that it's only being done using a sponge, just to ink up the sides of my chocolate chip, using chocolate chip, because, and there's this middle part is not covered. Don't be scared, this part goes right over top, never even notice. Alright, so first I'm going to take this 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 piece of cream cardstock, inked with chocolate chip, put it over this paper, which I've also inked up the edges of. This one I decided to ink up the edges. I went for a little bit more of a rustic feel because I switched to green instead of blue. And this is 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm just going to take my snail again, all 4 corners, careful to not put adhesive on the front parts of my other cardstock. It's always best to just do this on a scrap piece of paper like I have here, just because you don't want to put adhesive on your card front or inside or anything like that. Alright, next I'm going to use my bone folder. I love pink, and so this is a pink bone folder. I'm just going to fold this in half. Yours, if you order a kit, will come pre-scored. so that this nice little crease will be in here, and you'll just have to fold and crease it with either your fingernail or your bone folder, which in my case is pink, because I love pink. Alright, so now before we layer this on, we're going to use ribbon. So next we're actually going to do is take this piece and put it over top. And to do that, you're going to need to use this piece you've already adhered. Now I've actually kind of done this a little bit backwards, so I'm kind of going to eyeball this cut line here. Your pieces will come exactly the right size. The eyelet border punch here, I used a scallop edge. But yours will be the right size. Mine isn't. I just kind of chopped it with scissors so it would be around the right size. And you're going to want to have the bottom part of the scallop edge showing. So your piece is a little bit longer, so it'll probably start up here around the center of the card. And I'm just going to put that into place and see that it's straight. And am I happy with it? I am. And therefore I'm just going to lock it where it is and be good and be happy. So move this piece out of place, and the best thing to do is keep your finger in the center of this and then just kind of lift it up a little bit and then put snail all the way down to the very edge and then lay it down, and now you've got it already stuck into place, so it's kind of just going to stay there. And then you've got your other straight line of snail all the way down. See, mine hangs over, so it's going to take my scissors, also pink, because pink is awesome. And I'm going to put that into place, or snip the little excess off. You won't have any excess because your kit will be, everything will be perfectly cut and scored and stamped if you want it to be stamped, and not stamped if you don't want to stamp it. Because the great thing about ordering a kit is you can order it with or without the stamp set. Ordering it with the stamp set allows you so many more creative possibilities. Because you actually have the ability